Scat School. Hi. Doopa doo wee bapa doo bapa doopa. Yes, I want to talk about scatting. It's a lot of fun talking, but it's kind of hard to listen to someone else talking. But listening to yourself talking, that's very, very good.
Fly me to the moon. Let me play among the stars.
And who wants to learn super important stuff? Not everyone. And there's proof of this all around the world. So I have the entire world supporting me. Who's supporting you? Doopa doo wee bapa doo ba. Now, scatting is a jazzy singy thing made famous, super famous, by gods like Ella Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald. Though Ella Fitzgerald, surprisingly, wasn't as Irish as she sounds. Because what is Irish anyway? Although the Fitzgeralds are as Irish as you can get, they're originally Anglo-Normans. So a mix of Germans and Vikings. So, to add more cumin to the Fitzgerald pot, Ella Fitzgerald was, of course, mainly of African-American heritage, like Louis Armstrong, who really elevated and brought scat singing right out into the world, because scat singing is part of jazz music, also brought to the world by African-Americans, like rock and roll, hip-hop, blues, etc., which is insane, but true. Anyway, Louis Armstrong, he was a god. Oh, Dinah, is there anything finer in the state of Carolina? I mean, this is the problem. I'm not Louis Armstrong, and I can't put his videos into my video because of copyright laws, so you get me doing it, which is a bit of a problem. I mean, the Ella Fitzgerald ones, there's some of hers that is just so phenomenal, like this URL here. I mean, just forget the YouTube.com watch stuff and just go straight to the Quirfercaticati. Just try and say it. Quirfercaticati 70. But the word scat, where does it come from? I mean, not the actual music traditions, which is reported to have come from West Africa, but the actual word scat. Well, let's not beat around the bush. Skatos is Greek, like souvlaki, but instead of it being about delicious food, it's about poo. So, scatology literally means stuff about poo. Sing it out loud. Scatology is such a lovely word. It means everything about poo. By the way, do you know there's no one on planet Earth that can spell diarrhea? So be the smartest person in your world and learn how to spell it. You can, if you do this, you can beat your teachers, parents, bosses, anyone, parents. Learn, just you'll be taking money directly right off them. Okay, this This is absolutely 100% true. And make the bet as big as you can, by the way, because you won't be paying anything back. You'll be literally taking money directly off people you know, which all economists agree is the best way to take money. Now, this is not some deep sea, dark ocean place to drown. This is you on the beach, ankle high, the surf just lapping up on your ankles. You're on the shore, a shore bet. Don't swim.
If you live in Australia or Kenya, etc., this is how you spell diarrhea. D-I-A-R-R-H-O-E-A. D-I-A-R-R-H-O-E-A.
Now, you want some US diarrhea? Now, I'll give it to you. Okay, it goes like this. DIARRRHEA. And what you'll see I'm giving you song brain accelerated learning, okay? So that's epigenetics. Google epigenetics. Okay, so you'll see my singing goes directly into your brain and makes you smarter. Memory equals intelligence. Okay, so it's like, what do you remember? And how? By singing. Science. Songs. Sai song. Say it with me. Sai song. Sai song. And what's the sai song example of diarrhea? Well, let's just stick to the classics. Diarrhea. I just met a girl called Diarrhea. And what do you think of that? That's right, it's sexist and racist. So if you hear that song, you say, stop it, I don't like it. So let's not be racist, okay? How do the French say diarrhea? They say le diarrhée, because they speak a different language. Okay, so, I'm even though I'm an educator and I'm teaching you new things and making you smarter with my fancy epigenetics and science stuff like that, some could say that everything I'm talking about is scatological. It's just scatological because everything you're talking about is poo. But it's not. I'm here because I'm talking about scat singing, sa song. That's the whole reason I even did any of this. And I'm just suggesting that maybe scat singing comes from the poo scat. And what I mean by that is that when you hear a scat singer, it's kind of pooey, right? What comes out of their mouth is kind of pooey. A normal singer, right, for example, you understand what they're singing. You understand the words that they're singing. Although sometimes in poo you can identify things like a piece of corn in your poo. And scat singing can do that as well. You throw in the odd word and you can understand it amongst the poo sludge. So an example of singing scat with real words thrown in is as follows. Zlang Burnaby, Chub was Jaragi, Dog Manusen Gali Dukun, Charlie Kali Key. In other words, Gong Mujwao. In other words, Dinkle Muzanki. And so, as hinted at previously, as hinted at previously, we talked about the Irish lilting. You know, die diddly, die diddly, and then there's also the Scottish mouth singing. Not to be confused with mouth singing songs. And also, what else? Oh, conical. You know that in India where they go duckity 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 din duckity 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 din. I love that. And I also love the way that in India they have this tradition of singers who sit down while they sing. They have a little sit sing. Sit sing. Do you like to sit sing? I love a sit sing. Do you want to say sit sing? I mean, you don't have to. I like the word sit sing. That's just me. I like to say sit sing. But if you don't like it, I could just totally respect that. And I just wonder though, because out of all the worlds, you think, well, probably most countries have some form of scatting, right? Yeah, like they must have some form of scatting. Like I would have thought, like it's somehow, somewhere along the line, if someone, like some person was there in front of a bunch of people and they were just thrown up in front of the audience, they said, perform monkey dance! And he has no, or she has no, they didn't have any clue they were going to do this. They just get up on stage and they're like, I'm a goat. You know, and then everyone in the crowd went, roar! That's amazing. But there was one person sitting in the audience and going, I know what they did. Nothing. And I can do nothing too. And so both of them went away and worked on it, and they both sort of came together and went, I've got this and that. Anyway, they worked it through and it evolved and it became a tradition, till eventually it became the nation's kind of their thing. And they're like, we do this, we do the goat singing. People, it's not goat singing. It's like, meh. And it's like, what are you doing? So, well, I'm from down south, we do this, meh. They're like, well, up north we go, meh. And they're like, meh. And there was like people going, meh, you know, I think that's probably how it went down. Anyway, the point is that all over the world there's this kind of thing, right? Sort of scatting. And so people have looked at this sort of international idea of scatting and went, let's have our own. But instead of making it traditional, let's make it original. Let me be the focus of this thing, and I'm going to call it extended vocal technique. It's not cultural, it's just my extended vocal technique. And so, yeah, that's what happens. You know, all over the world, you're composers and different musicians and, you know, a whole bunch of people, vocalists, working on this thing called extended vocal technique. And of course, there's lots of kinds of this. Like one example is beatboxing, which I can't do, and I'll show you. See? Can't do. But I do. See? It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Sensing. Okay, now another one is, of course, ASMR. That's kind of like a version of sound, experimental sound, and extended vocal technique.
Yeah, what's up, Doc? I mean, you can mix it up there, but you can do all that. Well, this is the rules. But also, it's funny because they say ASMR is euphoric, whereas some people, which is weird, find this gross. So it's interesting how humans are in their brain.
Who's there?
Alison.
Alison who?
I listen to strange music.
And there's other kinds of extended vocal technique. Not that. Not that.
Mr. Waldorf, could you please take a seat? We want to talk your results, okay? You have type 2 diabetes? You know about the cancer, right? You're telling me you don't know about that? Okay, fine. Well, that's okay.
Now, what else is there? That's extended vocal technique. There's so that's you've got your type 2 diabetes, and then you take that you take your tutus, and then you divide that by 4 forgetfulness over the orchestra pit. You then get the people out of their tutus and you put them in these big tracky dackies that are the inflatable kinds of tracky dackies. You know, the ones that you blow up the legs and they go big like Violet Beauregard. You know, the gum talking know-it-all who goes up like a blueberry. Well, you do that, but then once the blueberry legs are big, you get pins, different pin sizes. So down here, and you and the break and the quarter, and then you pick your which pin. Because what you've done is you've blown up your legs and they need to be punctured with pins. You get that? I'm going to get a gosh darner and I'm going to put this into my blown up leg. Okay? Simple. You get yourself a knitting needle and you take the right leg, a different leg, and so right? I hope that's clear. And then we check the deflation. Gotcha? Yep, okay. You get the stress ball and you squeeze it. Then you connect with your ancestors. Even the annoying ones. I mean, these ones are so annoying. I had a friend of mine who wasn't very annoying at all, and he wasn't even an ancestor, so you sure. And then, of course, you've got your... Yeah, I mean, for me, it's always about the palaber. You have palaber. No. And they like, I'm not going to get it. This is all Shining, Gallicus, Jack Darties. You know. Because when you piece it together, you've got the colours. Hey, take it there, right there. Boom, that's mathematics, right there. What's it over there? Don't look. That's distracting. Don't look. Don't. Sarkianos or the Hakatitans. I mean, for me, it's always like, you got the Paliutes. You don't mess around with the Chaktansis. You don't.
I personally have never gone near a butternut because it's not my thing, you know? It's more or less a pal. For me, it's pal. Pala. Like a pala. I mean, more or less, you know? If you're to pardon me, you know? So that's, you know. I just want to be fair to everyone in the whole world. So I just grabbed it. There. When you grab it, you're hornos. Everyone likes a horno. There's lots. What am I doing this for you? Like I'm your personal private slave? Why don't you do it? Why don't you do it? You do it. Yeah, alright, we'll see how it goes, mate. Yeah. Pretty good. I think I'll go. Yeah, no, actually we'll go. I'm going to say straight up. Knowing when to stop is good too. Or is it? Do you just work through until it just turns into shesh? Do you like shesh? I mean, see, I don't mind a bit of shesh. Shesh is where you just get this feeling in your mesh in the stars. Well, it's just, because you don't normally see it, okay? So, it's all good. Kicks.
D-I-A-R-R-H-O-E-A.